Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Somebody Should Have Told Me podcast. I am your host, Majesty, and we are here with another episode, okay? And today, what I wanted to talk to you guys about, I think I'm going to call this episode Keep on Living. My word, my word, my word, okay? So, essentially what I want to talk about is all of the lessons that the father figures in my life have taught me. Okay. So I have my biological father. Okay. But then my mom remarried when I was 9. Okay. And so they stayed together um throughout high school. So the majority of my life I spent most of that time with my stepfather. Okay. And then one of my most cherished contributions to my life is my godfather. Okay. I still call him dad to this day. And if that is if my relationship with my godfather is any glimmer of what a daddy's girl feels like, A1, okay? Because the way my godfather just recently set my whole life on course about a year and a half ago from a conversation we have had, that it is literally so beautiful. And I always tell my mom, I say, for my godparents, there couldn't be anything better because God literally sent me an extra set of parents. And my godmommy and my godfather have relationship with each of them is so different, um but so rich in different ways. But today I just want to talk about the contribution of each of my father figures. Okay, so as I'm going to navigate through this episode, I'm just going to call them all of them dad, so you will probably not know um which one I'm talking about, or maybe I'll clarify. We'll see which way the spirit is flowing. But I have a wonderful relationship with my godfather. um my relationship with my biological dad is not what I had hoped, and nor was it with my stepfather. But those are so many years of that he was in my life and in my home, that where I spent the most time with him. I was raised in part by him, and that is what I knew growing up. So as I have endured, okay, my way through the year of our Lord 2025, 2024, 2023, all the things, I keep having these memories of when my stepfather would have these long, drawn out conversations with us. He'd be trying to give us the talk. After you get a whooping, you got to get to talk. And the talk is supposed to be about life philosophies. So when me and my step siblings used to be getting in trouble, I mean, he would talk for hours. I mean, and we were just children, okay? And he would just go on and on and on all day and all night, okay? So me and my step siblings be looking at each other like, what is this man talking about? And then we get to giggling when he's trying to tell us everything that's happening in life. He would say, all right, y'all keep on. Y'all keep on living. And you gonna see what I'm talking about. And I'm here to report to you. At the ripe age of 33, I think I may have seen the keep. I think this is the keep. There are some things you just don't see until you experience for yourself, okay? And I don't know what to say, okay? I don't know if I should call him back and be like, this is the keep. This is the keep. Because if this is the keep, then back when I was 9 years old, I shouldn't have been laughing at nothing. Nothing was funny at a time like that if this was going to be the keep of the keep on living. Now, thankfully, by his grace and strength and power, things are on the mend. And I can say I want to run on and see what the end is going to be. But it was a bit of a patchy, okay, in the middle of that. Other things, and I vacillated between like what else I would call this episode in terms of just things that my father taught me. Another thing that I am really grateful for and what kind of prompted this is I am seeing a lot of like content out there that women in their 30s are feeling challenged with, that these are actually conversations that I do remember having both with my stepfather and my biological father from a very, very young age. Um, Specifically in terms of nutrition. When I tell you my dad, my biological dad and my stepfather showed me the ropes when it came down to nutrition. And so I'm going to use these interchangeably, but I remember okay, my dad, he told me, he said, don't ever let your weight get out of control. He said it's just going to create too many problems that you just don't want to have. And he said you don't want to find out how the world treats people who are bigger. I promise you, I remember I had to only have been like 12 or 13 when he was telling me this. I was only a buck oh five. I had no clue about anything. And he was like, you got to stay on top of that because when you get older, because you're a woman, there'll be other challenges because of your hormones. Now, I'm just now finding out and getting to the bottom of what was happening with my hormones. But I want to say my birthday's in September. When I was 29, February of my 29th birthday, so 7 months before I officially turned 30, I started having hormonal problems. And if you don't set yourself up to master nutrition, to master discipline, to master fitness, when your body does its woman thing, it'll really shake you. I don't care what's going on, what you think you're doing, you need to have a wellness regimen of some sort, some vitamins, some fitness, because a lot of people think that your body either just stays the same or it gets better. If you don't have a wellness regimen, it does get worse. You cannot just think that your body doesn't hit this inflection point and have these flare ups, especially even more so as women. So, one of the things that was really important to me, even growing up, I ran track from like fourth grade to 11th. I was always in something, tumbling. So, I lived an active lifestyle. I used to love to ride my bike as a kid. My mom had just sent me some pictures of when I was little yesterday, and all I ever remember like wanting to do as a child was just ride my bike. Okay. When I figured out how to ride a two-wheeler, that was all she wrote. I will be in that alley till sundown just riding that bike. So I always lived a healthy life. But one of the things that was important for me to kind of take it up a notch is when I was in the mine ministry. It's just very physical work. And so it wasn't a hard thing or a foreign thing for me to have to do 5 services, in one Sunday. I think the most I ever did was 7 services in one Sunday, just a heavy itinerant schedule, just extremely physically laborious. And so I had to find a way to be able to fuel my body and up my nutrition. And I remember, like, for whatever reason, I was trying to lose some weight. And my stepfather put me on a plan. It was like half a cup of oats. You do your egg whites and all these things. And I would do like tuna with no mayonnaise and just mustard and all these things. And when I say he had my metabolism revved up so high, and I would be like on these really tight eating schedules. And I remember going to go vote one time, and I was like 15 minutes behind on my eating. My metabolism had sped up so fast I almost passed out. Okay. But just really knowing that you can steward your body, you can give it its nutrients to get it to perform at its prime, is something that I'm now seeing on social media that nobody taught a lot of the girls. And it brings me back to those days where I'm grateful, because these are conversations we had when me having a weight problem was never even thought of. Even when I started to do hit workouts, my dad was like, you need to be careful because those type of workouts will increase your appetite. And I had to completely flip my whole fitness schedule on its head, because that is exactly what happened. And it almost seemed, not almost, doing workouts was creating like more problems for me than what it was solving. But it was something I knew to look out for, because thankfully I did have men in my life who valued fitness and nutrition. And my dad still looks amazing to this day, has a six pack, like still keeps himself up a lot and everything like that. But I am just grateful for that time. And yes, my mother made a wonderful contribution, but this episode is about fathers. And when I think back to what they told me, and what they showed me. And even now, my habit of shopping at health food stores is because not only did my stepfather show me like the meal plans, but he would take me to Sprouts, which is still like my favorite grocery store to shop at, and take me to the bulk section and learn what seeds do. And he would tell me, every 3 months you have to do your colon cleanse. And so if you've been following me for any extended period of time, you guys know I'll do my Dr. Bobby's holistic cleanse. And it's just all herbs and things like that. And I'll stop quarterly and just do a good, cleanse. I learned about colon cleansing as a child from my stepfather. And him not only like showing me or telling me, but showing me and modeling those things. Like even growing up, we did not have ground beef. We had ground turkey, and he would teach me different little swabs and substitutes. And I think it comes to mind, one, I think I'm seeing a lot of content on my algorithm that makes me savor those things that were taught to me. And then two, I've had to lean on that within my own fitness and wellness journey, just recently, in getting my own self together. And I am just grateful for the resources that I've had, just learning the importance of weightlifting. Like cardio is one thing, but if you ever want to do amazing wonders for your body as a woman, get in the gym. That's what's going to keep everything tight and lifted up and perky and youthful looking, and keep your body trim, and bring that volume in and bring you down to size. It's weightlifting. And a lot of people feel like it's going to make you bulky, but it's not. Your body is going to do what God designed it to do as a woman, and it's going to bring out all those peak things. So just a thought of a few lessons that I have learned from the father figures in my life. Just the importance of wellness, building muscle. You want to build muscle, getting great sleep, um, prioritizing that, and then learning to understand your hormones as a woman. Looking in hindsight, well, not even in hindsight, because that is what I did this time around, is learned what hormones for me needed to be corrected. And I'm able to live in better results of that. And I'm so excited about it and what it's meant for me. But I think I wanted to stop and in some ways commemorate the good of the relationship that I've had from the father figures in my life. Um, as well as just share some gems from to some of the women that I'm seeing may not have gotten that. So let me know in the comments, what is your favorite takeaway from this episode? And if there's anything as it pertains to wellness or nutrition or fitness that you found helpful for you. I love talking with you all every week. Until next time, this has been another episode of the Somebody Should Have Told Me podcast.